Hey everyone. Hey
Hey there.
Cindy. It's 4th of July, but it's
Oh,
Monday and we've already been working for like an hour, almost 2 hours. I don't know. Depends if I count
yeah,
my coffee. So I think we're on my second or third cup of coffee. I actually had to go outside for a few minutes
exactly.
before we started because I know we just wanted to show you guys behind the scenes kind of what happens. Cindy and I talk often. We're so excited about travel. We live, eat, breathe, and travel. I mean, and I and
We do.
yeah, it's like even if we're not physically able to be away, I mean, like this year I've been dealing with all these stupid casts, but so I think today we want to hop in and share a bit about Meetup.
Yeah, and that's how we met, right? We met on a meetup
Yeah.
through Meetup. We have been running meetup groups for almost a decade now, both of us.
Yeah, I
And
think Meetup just announced what they're 20 years old. I saw they have that on their big banner. And I was trying to think because I've met so many wonderful now friends. I could start
right.
naming them, but I won't call them out
Yeah.
here publicly in case they watch the video. But I know Catherine won't mind. Catherine and I met through Meetup. I mean,
Right, right.
maybe close to 20 years. I mean, because I was
Well,
thinking about
it has
that.
been that long because I think I've told this story because early on they sent an email because I was one of the first members of Meetup when they first started.
Yeah.
And the founder's creation story is fascinating because it's out of 9/11. And I'll just share that if people are
Yeah,
here because I think
do.
it's a beautiful story. And I maybe not have all the details, but I do know that it was a husband and wife who lived in Manhattan during 9/11. Their building was intact. But because of the tragedy that was happening there on the island with everybody, um, as you can imagine, everybody was displaced for a long time. Everything was you know, out of
Yeah.
whack. You weren't going to work, things like that. And because of what was happening in their big apartment building in New York, they started to rely on their neighbors greatly. And they met so many amazing people and built these friendships um, as a result of this tragedy, which is a typical story. But the couple that started the Meetup platform said, we need to start meeting our neighbors. Why can't we do this on a
Yes.
regular basis? And so early on, pre-COVID, pre all of this stuff, it used to be if you had a meetup group, you were not allowed to do online events.
Right. You
It
were
was
not.
intended to be in person. You could only host in-person events. And that was because that was the founders, passion was for you to find it. And, they had a wonderful idea of just like pick a topic, like I like books to read, I like wine, I like photography, I like whatever it is, start a little niche group about that and find people in your neighborhood
Yes.
that like the same thing and get together with them. And that's what Meetup's been doing for, now decades.
But you're right, it was very like you could not do online events. You
Mm-hmm.
had to meet in person.
Yep.
You had to have a specific topic and niche,
Yes.
and that would be the connecting point. And you also it was very zip code oriented. So
Mm-hmm.
again, that foster that maybe your neighbor that you never even talked to shared an interest in photography, or maybe they live 2 blocks away.
Right.
And honestly, even my meetup groups have gone through this evolution of going from very niche to like changing the name or something
Right.
changes, and now it's become much more broad. And
Yeah, and it's still a very valid way for people to connect with locals. Like it's something I would encourage somebody who moved into a new neighborhood. If you just moved out of town, and you're check and see if there's a meetup group. It's a great way to meet locals and find people. So we've been using Meetup. I didn't realize it was 20 years, but when you brought it up, I'm like, yeah, 2022. Yeah, that would be 20 years because it was the year after, I'm sure, 9/11 that they
right.
put it out there. Um, and it just reminded me of that moment. What a great story that is. I'll have to see if I can actually find the founder's story online so that you could hear it directly from them. I got an email from them, I think, on their 5-year anniversary or something, because
Yeah, they were still a part at that
yeah, they
point.
were a part of it for a long time. They were still the owners of it. And we got like a thanks for joining,
Yeah,
email, and here's our
exactly.
story. And I was like, I just stuck in my mind of that it was a beautiful story, and like I really wanted to support that. I was really happy to be part of Meetup after I heard that story. So it's evolved, and we struggle with it still.
It is. It's a love-hate relationship, I think, because I
Yes.
think, and that's kind of what we're going to dive in today is As organizers, we do pay to have these
Yes.
groups. They are not, they're free to be you're free to be a member of Meetup,
Right.
but to actually organize, have a group, host it on a topic, it costs, gosh,
Over $200
over $200 a year, and
a
you only
year.
get 3 groups that way.
Right.
And
And it sounds like a lot, but it really isn't for that amount of money. Um,
and we're noticing a drop off.
mhm.
So we may mention that. I have collected having access to post events in more groups just because organizers have added other organizers to offset costs or to help, again, provide content and provide, hosting these
Mhm.
events, even pre-pandemic, it's a lot of work. You're
Right.
having to organize them, pick a spot to meet, pick a date, pick a time. Are people going to show up? All of those issues we struggle with.
Oh yeah, the whole myriad of things to go through to post a meetup. I mean, we've gotten fast at it, right? Because we've been doing it for a long time, but you need a description. You have to have a Zoom link if now that you're doing it online. If not, if it wasn't online, oh my God, there was so many more things because you not only needed a physical address, but you had to like explain parking and what where
Yeah,
you were going to physically
exactly.
meet and what you were going to wear, how to find you, like all of those things you had to put in the description. Otherwise, your meetup, your event would be a flop, right? There was a lot involved. You need a picture to put it so you can draw attention and
And like hosting any event, as you can imagine, like in a place like both Cindy and I were, well, I've recently moved, but Los Angeles, I mean, again, if you're not posting it in there, we all know it's like, oh yeah, that sounds like a great idea. But wait, in LA, I have to drive an hour on a
Mhm.
Saturday morning. You get people that they say, yeah, I'm going to come and hit the confirm, and then they never show up.
Oh, the flake factor is high.
Right. You start a walk and they had trouble parking because we all know the interesting parts of LA, it's hard to park sometimes. You have to pay for parking. Oh wait,
Yeah.
you have to pay for parking? That,
Yeah. Or I
everybody,
didn't find the one you
uh,
said was free and I paid $10 and then you've got somebody upset with you and it's like, but I told
no.
you where the free one was. I'm sorry
Right.
that you didn't find it.
Or you have
There's
people that want it, like you always do stuff on the west side. Why don't you do something in Pasadena? So then you create something in Pasadena, and the
and
people
then
that
no one
actually
shows up.
live in Pasadena don't come. It's all the other people, and it's just
Uh,
crazy. So
well, so
we've
going online has been helpful for us in a lot of ways, especially in Los Angeles because of the traffic. People are so much, they like it.
yes.
Matter of fact, my book club, which is on Meetup, and we have opted. We've been doing it online for the last couple of years for obvious reasons, and we recently discussed whether we wanted to go back to in person. And most of my members are like, "We're good like this. We can meet for dinner or something, once in a while."
Oh,
But they
nice.
really
Yeah.
like it online because they don't have to drive for an hour, fight traffic. It's so much easier to do. So it has definitely helped that Meetup has moved that way. But I think what we wanted to talk about
Yeah, let's
today is we
dive
have
in
a
so we can
large,
actually get into
yeah,
our work, since otherwise we'll have to do this work afterwards. Is
yeah. So the work we wanted
posting
to do is,
we wanted to go through the groups and kind of do an inventory, since you don't know all the places I'm probably posting
yeah,
these
we don't know
events
all the
to.
groups that we all belong to. And so we just thought we would go and first we want to do a count because we do this once in a while. The numbers change all the time as to who's a member. So I'm going to just open something while we're talking here, April. If you want to
Read off the group.
start and give me 1 second to find okay, I am ready. You read off the name and then the total number and I will date that number so that we can.
Right. And then later today, I do need to go back in if we don't have time during this behind the scenes session. I need to add the Friday event because we have a great event on Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific. We're trying. And it's been nice because people around the world now can join our different various events and meet each other, which is all about
Yeah.
travel.
So let's
Let's see. I'll
see.
start with the first group I have is Tours for Women.
Tours for Women and how many members?
Open that one. Hang on. It takes a quick minute to open it up. And this one has, right now it says 488 members.
All right.
And then let me go back. We have Tours for Women Florida.
Okay.
but we all know members of these now can join from anywhere.
Right.
This one has 1,317 members.
Okay. And, as we're going through this, if you guys are members of this, you can let us know. We kind of don't know how many of our folks are on YouTube and watching this. So if you are a member, if we shout out your group, go, oh, I'm a member of that, put it in the description or or in the comments
in
or
the
whatever.
Comments, right.
Yep. What else we got?
Then we got the Travel Collective.
Okay.
Which I recently had renamed to match some of our other stuff we have going on. It's got 230 members.
Okay.
And then I've got the Glendale Photography Group, which I am, that's my group too. So let me go ahead and get the numbers on that one. And again, most of these groups now, because the Meetup's allowing online events, you can be a member if you have an interest in these things from anywhere in the world, because there's a mix of online and in-person events now. 3,549 members.
Wow, that's a good one. Okay.
Yeah, they're all interested in photography, travel. This one is local and international photo tours. And I'm co-ing this one with somebody. This one's only 31 members, but the person that started it just literally started it, and now she's leading a tour. Yeah. The Los Angeles Nomad Chick Women's Travel Group. That's a mouthful. Let's see. This one takes a little minute to open. This one has 1,142 members.
Okay.
And then we have the Culture Connoisseurs and Art Adventurers, which is a great group, always stuff happening. This one has 4,006 members.
Okay.
And then we haven't named off Travel Ninja yet, so let me get that one. Travel Ninja has, open sesame. Travel Ninja has 1,311 members.
1,311 members. Okay, so wow, that gives us 1,200 or 12,000. We have 12,000 members in total.
Right.
So that's a pretty good, across all those. But I mean, what that means to us is we have to post it. We have 8 times.
6, 8 times. 8 times I have to individually post each event and put in a link and all of that, only because without a pro account, which is about $600 a year, because I tried it for a hot 5 minutes when they gave me the 30 days for free, and it was a nightmare to cancel it. It took umpteen phone calls. It took umpteen spamming. Yeah. Oh, actually, there wasn't a phone number. They didn't have a public phone number. I had to basically kind of go in, and I felt like I was spamming their Facebook page to get someone to respond, which I'd heard from other organizers as well, that, again, they make it super easy to create something that's on a pro level and take your money, but they make it very difficult to cancel. And so anyways.
Yeah. So now 12,000 members, that is what we have a total of access to. And, so I'm going to say this because we're, this is sort of behind the scenes. So if you're a Facebook member, let us know so we know. We're talking about moving away from Facebook or consolidating.
Moving away from Meetup. Yeah.
Or Meetup, sorry.
Yeah, don't confuse them.
Yeah. Moving away from Meetup or maybe consolidating these down, because between this, we're both paying, right? We both pay the 200 plus, a year to be organizers. We don't need to probably do that. Maybe it would be okay to have one group or maybe 2 groups instead of 8.
Or the minimum of 3, because right now, like you saw, both of us are paying. Oh, actually, you didn't name off your book group. You didn't.
Yeah, I do have a book group.
You should add those, because I wasn't.
They also count.
Sorry, they also count.
That my book club is a travel
Well, it's a
book
travel
club.
book club, and we have
Mhm.
events that they might be the travel.
And
We have a travel book event coming up with authors. That's going to be awesome later. So
people do join that.
from the other groups and whatnot. So
Yeah,
I
lots
didn't
of,
add
well, it
that
goes
one.
back and forth. People will, I get a lot of my members on the book club. There's only 155 members there, but I will add that to
Well,
the
add that to your
list.
spreadsheet because
Um,
just since we're talking, like you said, we each currently are paying to keep our groups or the groups that we both use collectively, that's what we're doing. And we're posting like all the events. Like this week we have three, or I want to split it out and post Friday's event into um, 3 or 4 events because again, it comes down to how much do people read. And when
uh,
you write the name of the event, you as a viewer only see X number of words. And so you might, if I just put travel Zoom call, you might be like, yeah, that's not so interesting. If I put Morocco travel info session, you'll be like, oh, I want to hear about that. Maybe I don't want to go. So then it comes down to creating that 4 times, 5 times just for that day. Because again, you as a viewer, a listener, a participant, and I'm guilty of it too. When we Google search, we're now Google searching more specific. Instead of
right.
travel, you're Google searching or Meetup searching topics like Morocco travel,
Right.
Alaska trip,
Yeah.
photography tour, so then it's like, wow.
Yeah. And, sadly, it would be helpful if everyone were on the same platform. And I know some, folks have said, well, just focus on, Facebook or just focus on Meetup, like just pick a platform and stay there. But it doesn't really grow that way. I mean, as we know, a couple things I know, like I have fans that are on Meetup because that's how we met, right? So I can
Right.
post things there and they'll hear about it. But I have a lot of fans who don't even know that Meetup exists and they've never gone there. And if I've and in the past I've tried to again, I've been a big fan of it for a long time. I've tried to push them there and they don't even want to set up a profile. They don't want to bother, but they are on Facebook.
Right.
So
Well,
you need
that's
that.
been my issue too. I had um, people that met me via Meetup and they have that, they get the notifications on their phone or whatever
Yep.
way. And like they say, they're like, nah, I'm not really. I mean, I personally know family members that are like, I don't want to ever set up a Facebook account.
Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
won't ever find out about the event because they picked Meetup because they want to hear about things that they can go
Yeah.
participate, do. And so, yeah, I have it's this hard thing of
Yeah. I
putting
mean, we
those in
can't
all
be
these
everywhere.
places.
So I think we're pretty much the Facebook, Meetup, YouTube, right? Like that's pretty much the biggest portion um, of our push right now, and it covers most folks. So as you said, we have 9 groups on this list that we have to, for every single event. And we run events, as you see, we run events at least once a week for our travelers. And then on our business side of the group, we run events once or twice a week, even for them as well. So we've often got 3 to 4 events that are going on every week that require us to post in multiple places in
Yeah, and I
order to
can't even
garner the
tell
audience
you.
that we're looking for.
Right. I was going to say I need to go and checking the groups because sometimes I know like you start to post it in an order and then you need to go eat or like just life happens. It's like I say, I don't think people realize like here, let me pick a group and just start going through the steps of creating because sometimes I have to go back. I make a
Yeah.
list and say, oh, did I actually get Friday's event posted to each group? Oh, well now we added. Oh, someone's going to share on Friday about, I can't see who the newest person was. Oh, Christmas in London. Did I
Yes.
actually get Christmas in London? Because that's a
Listed.
great listed. Is that listed? Because if it just says travel to Germany and travel to England, you
That may
wouldn't,
not be enough.
that may not be enough. Or it's like, yeah, I've been to England. Yeah, but Christmas in London is amazing. So that needs its own title
Well,
because
and that's another like push for our folks who do participate with us. Like the sooner you tell us so that we can put it the first time we promote it, right? So when we put
yes,
it up, we put it up with all the information we have available at the moment. But then at the last minute, if you slide and go, hey, I want to do this too, great. But we may not have time to go back and edit all 9 of these events and the ones on Facebook and the ones on our website to
right.
update it to include you. So that just becomes more of a challenge for us And we are doing most of this ourselves, so there's not, we don't have arms and legs helping us, because we're honestly, there's no income being generated out of this. This is a passion project, and we're hoping that it will turn into something else, but today it is just a passion project, so it is a lot of labor to get that done. So I think we'll have to go in and do the.
Yeah, I was just pulling up the Culture Connoisseurs group as an example, because it's got 4,000 members, and upcoming, I got the Let's Eat Provence online Zoom session for Friday, but I still need to add now Christmas in London online info session for Friday. That's not even posted yet, and it's already Monday, so I need to do that right away so that those people, I mean, it's an amazing trip. I want to get that posted there. So then we need to do that. That'll probably take, let's see if I go to create event. And the other thing that's gotten frustrating with Meetup a lot of other Meetup organizers, their Meetup itself is making changes, but they keep adding things. Now they have I don't even know what this new thing, this meet and greet template. I don't know if that's going to help do it faster. Probably not. I'm used to doing it this way.
I attended some Meetup YouTube or online event last week, and I was like, you guys are not helping me. You're just making it more confusing.
What was it about?
It was like meet the Meetup engineers, like the developers. And I went to that because I was like, well, what's coming? Like I went, because the platform has been very stagnant. We talked about that in the last 10 years. They really haven't done a whole lot with making the platform more user-friendly. Yeah. They sold it to WeWork, right? Like probably 10 years ago or 6 years ago. And they slapped a face on it, like a more mobile friendly face on it. But there was still a lot of stuff in the back end that you'd have to go back to the older version of Meetup to go to, right? And that still exists today. So from a developer perspective, they have a lot of work to do. And I think the new owners are trying to help it, but I haven't, anyway, that's why I went to that event.
They're trying, but even for a lot of us organizers, we used to be able to put in a cool photo or a graphic, and for travel and photography events, and we're also visual and media focused now. It's like some of us aren't, for me, it's like it does no longer let me add a photo. And so most of these events now, like Christmas in London, I have to make a title. You can only put in 80
I don't have trouble doing photos. So if you want to send me the link to the event, maybe I can add a photo.
I've never had to edit. Yeah, as long as we're on the event, you might be able to edit it.
And maybe if you make me a co-host, then I can edit it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, we can work through.
Yeah,
these are the kinds of problems that we run into with the event, and we have to create the events.
Oh, and then topics, you have to pick topics. So now they added that, I think, and again, in case people are searching. But with travel, there's a lot of topics. I could put solo travelers, I could put women who travel, I could put outdoor, I could put street photography,
luxury, adventure.
Any travel experience to me is an opportunity for street photography. That's taking my cell phone maybe and just taking some photos. I know. So all these challenges, and you can only pick 5 topics on each one. Then you have to add the venue, which we're trying to post. That was what we wanted to mention. We are trying to get away from publicly posting the Zoom link to some of these places, because again, there are people out there now with TikTok and YouTube live channels.
We've had Zoom bombers. They're just no fun. It's happened to us a couple of times. So you'll notice that we're going to really try hard not to post in Facebook anywhere or in Meetup anywhere the actual Zoom link. So that means that you'll likely have to click multiple times. You'll go to a landing page, maybe on our webpage, and then have to click join the event, because we're going to hide that Zoom link, because these Zoom mobbers are going to these platforms, Meetup, Facebook, every place, and they're searching for the link, which has that zoom.com, like it has the Zoom in the link, and they can find it. And once they find it, then they start attacking us. And we've learned a few things about how to avoid that and how to get rid of them. And, we stumble through that when it happens, but it's incredibly disruptive. And then we're also having some challenges with a few other things like Facebook events. Let's just take a moment and talk about how horrid they are. I mean, so again, we have events trying to get you all the right information to come. Facebook has a lovely feature that you can create an event in Facebook. It can be on your page, on your business page. It can be in a group. You can create the event anywhere you want. And then hopefully you can invite people to that event. And hopefully that event would remind them that they have it. That's the hope. One of the challenges that we've had is that Facebook does not visually make it easy to find that join now link.
Right, right.
So they might go to the event or they go to the post and they can't find the link to get to the event itself. I mean, it's a button, and if you didn't know where it was.
And that one too, I think, says join event.
Yes.
But this is why, again, Cindy and I keep kind of going back and forth. But as you'll notice on Meetup, I am specifically putting our webpage, the Dash Travel Collective, all of those events are there. And then from that event link, hit the join, and it gives you join via Zoom, it gives you two options to choose.
Yeah. And we are going to have to be experimenting with this because we need to find a simple way. We have found a pretty easy way on our website to make it easy to find. The buttons are really big and people can usually find them when they once they manage to navigate there. But whether or not you found it through a post or through our Facebook event or through a Meetup event, we're going to push you to our webpage for the event, for a landing page.
Yeah, that's the
always
way.
Going forward, we have to do that in order to prevent the Zoom bombers. And then the second challenge that we're working through, and we don't have a solution yet, is getting a count, because we need support staff, people to join us on our events, because it's not something we can manage alone, especially when we do these big events with multiple rooms and lots of people. We need people there to facilitate.
Well, and we also want to somehow, for those that are truly interested, it is frustrating if we don't capture even just your name to follow up with you later.
Right.
And that happens on your end too. Maybe you saw some great information and you might not always know how to get back to us to find out more about someone that lives in Italy, lives in France, lives in Germany. So
yeah. And as these events get more and more popular, we will have to put a cap on it because we can't have hundreds of people in there. That'll be too many to manage. So at some point we might say this event is capped at so many seats. We haven't really done that yet because we haven't, it's not a problem we've encountered yet, but we anticipate that to be an issue. So we have to
have, yeah, I think that's true.
An evolution of a way to count RSVPs. We need you to say you're coming, and we aren't doing that today because Facebook is really iffy about that. Meetup does do that, but you'd have to go there to do it. And again, that's another challenge. The Zoom link does not ask you to register right now. We can do that, but that's another requirement.
And we have to look at just even what level of account. Many people that haven't used Zoom much, you can have a free account, but it only gives you 30 to 40 minutes, and it literally cuts you off. But, the best conversations we need a full hour, and even on some of these multiple events, like the other night, I would have wanted to go to all 4 rooms. So again, it would have been nice if we would have extended it, because I know some of the upcoming events in July, Cindy, we've got 8 and 10 different types of tours that'll be available for you to choose a room. And so, we may want to have the event go for an hour and a half, and maybe people can choose to, again, are we going to, if you're not there at the beginning of the event, it's hard to let people in later. We're always trying to struggle with it. If you join 15 minutes late because you couldn't get to the link, we may not be able to let you in. And we do have support staff on something that large that we're going to have some, just some guidelines to help all of us and make it smooth.
And we do need to find a way to make sure that people are registering going forward. That's going to happen. I mean, people should anticipate that our events are not going to be just pop in. Pretty soon they're going to need to be registered because they are getting big. And as they get bigger, we need to know, is this going to be 30 people or 70 people? Because if the event is 70 people, that's probably 2 more facilitators at least in the group so that we have people to help us. because it's too many to manage in the chat, and it's a lot to work. So
Well, even for the presenter, they're focused on
yes,
sharing content and talking about their amazing trip or adventure. They're not always able to just even pop over to look at the chat. Because I know myself, if I'm doing it from a little
yeah,
laptop, or Lisa's in Mexico. I mean, a lot of people are doing this remotely from their location. Their screen is little. They're literally just wanting to show you some beautiful pictures. And so they're not seeing the screen that shows who's attending, who's in the room, or to even look at the chat, which is why we're asking for some help, some co-hosts to just
yeah.
monitor that, to say, hey, Lisa asked a question, and read it to us as the presenter. So
Yeah, because this will all get better. So I think, knowing that that's going to change, and bear with us if you have suggestions. I mean, I think we talked about that. I mean, we've talked about now, Meetup versus Facebook and what we do there. We have a lot. I think we'll put a poll in Facebook to see,
yeah,
let us know like where you prefer, what's your preferred platform. That might help us understand if we want to, how much we want to hold on to the meetups,
I
and
know.
because it's costly. I mean, obviously Facebook's free, so that's a whole different animal. Makes it a whole lot easier. We have to pay for our Zoom account, so that's something we're not going away, but looking for a
Oh,
way
yeah,
to,
that's what I wanted to mention. The account
right.
we have does cost money to be able to facilitate the rooms and the
Mhm.
breakout sessions. So
And
yeah,
to do the recordings and all of
we're
that
all
kind of
doing
stuff.
this just because we love it right now. But and the same with the meetup group. I mean, I love my meetup groups. I've met a lot of great people there,
Me
and I
too.
know people in meetup that probably aren't on Facebook. So again, we may start trying to get you to register for the events, to show us that, hey, you're interested in staying in touch. So if we do financially decide that, that's the best choice for us, is to move away from meetup, that we still can stay in touch with you. Because
Yeah. And it's not just the cost of Meetup, it's the cost of our time.
oh yeah,
There's a lot
just
of time invested to go back and forth. So to simplify that, we need to start thinking about that and moving people. So again, if you're interested in staying in touch, we'll put a link in the description here where you can join our mailing list so you can stay in touch with us. And also we'll put a link to the Facebook group so you can join that, because that's not going to go away. As we said, that's free. So there's no reason for us to ever abandon that. And there's probably other things we'll be exploring as we continue to market our events. I think that's probably all we can share today. We have to go write
yeah,
an
and I
email.
gotta go. We gotta go write an email, and I gotta go make sure I posted the event for Friday, and make sure you got some tour descriptions so that you understand what's happening on Friday and want to join. We'd love to see you and have you connect you with some amazing tours and things that you're not going to just find on your
Oh,
own. So
oh yeah, we talked to somebody this morning. Fantastic. We're talking to new people all the time. So thank you all for joining our behind the scenes. Hope we were, enlightening and let you see a little bit of what we do. And we're going to try to do this more often. And we do want to hear from you. So comment and give us some feedback as to what we can do better. And I think that I'll drop a form